Welcome everyone. Hope you are all doing well. You are safe at home. So this video is all about one topic. That's a hectic one. That is, yes, tenses. So in this video, I am going to clear your doubts with lot of examples, lot of images, so that you can able to understand the meaning of the tenses. So before going to the tenses, let's have a look on agenda. What's the main agenda? Why do we want to learn this? Okay, if we want to learn, what's the structure to learn? Okay, so one by one, here the first point, that is need of tenses. The first point you have to keep what's the need of tenses. Okay, the second here, types of tenses. So everyone knows there are types of tenses. So here the second we are going to learn about the types of tenses. The third over here is helping verbs. So what are helping verbs, why do we need, and how they are going to help us to create a structure of a sentence. Now this structure of each tense. So then finally the structure of each tense you have to understand with examples. Okay, without examples we are not going to understand, and I know you are also not going to able to understand it. So here the five ideas that you have to fix in your mind. First of all, you should know the need of tense, types, helping verb, structure with an examples. Now do promise to yourself that you are not going to do this. Don't mug up. Okay, you are
equal to 7, 28 by 4 is equal to 7, 28 by 4 is equal to 7, 28 by 4 equals to 7, 28 by 4 is equal to 7.
So you noticed that mug up is useless. So for that, what you have to say? You have to say a big no. Okay, so from today itself say no to the mug up, because tenses are not just types of a mug up. You have to practice. So now let's have a look on the table, how to form the tenses. So as you all know, there are three important types, that is present, past, and then future. And present has categorized, divided into 4 types, past also divided into 4 types, and as well as the future. Okay, so this type of table you have to make. Why to make? If you are making these types of tables, you can able to understand easily. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next, that is here the table. You may have a look on the table over here. So I told you about the table, right? So in the table here I have mentioned about the helping verbs. So here verbs for the present, that is, am, or. For the continuous, is, am, or. For the perfect, have or has. It depends on which type of verb or which type of noun you are using it. Okay, so like that only, it's also important for you. Then what are tenses? The main and important question that I didn't answer to you, right? So what are tenses? You may ask me, ma'am, what are tenses? I am getting confused over here. So tenses, it depends on a time. Okay, tense का मतलब ही होता है time. Okay, on what time that things happen. Then action. You have to remember these two things, time plus action, on which time this action happened. Okay, so time plus action means tense. Okay, so on which time this action happened. I was writing. Okay, I was writing. Is it a present, past, or future? You should know the differences of it. Okay, obviously that's a past. So now I made a different things over here. Think that time is your grandparents. Okay, nana, nani, okay, dada, dadi, it's up to you. It's time and action. So what they have, our nana, nani, they have 3 children. Okay, so they have 3 children. So the 3 children name are present, past, and future. Okay, so present, past, and future. So उन्हें भी बच्चे थे, राइट? तो प्रेजेंट को हुए 4 बच्चे, पास्ट को हुए 4, और फ्यूचर को हुए 4. ठीक है, इट्स इजी टू रिमेंबर. ओके, सो पास्ट, present, past and future. So don't get confused over here. Present have 4 children, past 4, future 4. Okay? Then, so present, past and future, so their name, what did they keep the names? नामकरण तो होना चाहिए, right? So the name for them is simple or indefinite tense, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. So now don't ask me, ma'am, ki why didn't they change? So here they change the names, like 4 3s are 12. So they have 12 children. Okay, so one by one they have 4 children. So past, present and as well as future. So here I told you, right, simple indefinite tense, for them you have to say through their surname. Surname in the sense present, present perfect, present continuous, present perfect continuous. For the future, future tense, like future tense, future perfect, future continuous, like that you have to say. Okay, so now here table. The main important thing is table. So here you may have a look on the table. That is, so the simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous. That's for the simple. What about the past? Past simple tense. What about the future? Future simple tense. Okay, for the continuous, future continuous tense. Okay, you should not get confused on their surname. So surname in the sense, either the tense is a past, future or in a present. Okay, it depends on what? It depends on time plus action. So now you may ask the question, where is the examples, ma'am? So here I am going to give you the examples. So we will start our first example with our first slide, first type, that is simple tense. Okay, why did I choose? Because I don't want you to get confused. So first of all, we'll clear the simple tense, that is present, past and future. Okay, so let's jump to the example. I cook Maggie. I cooked Maggie. I will cook Maggie. So I cooked Maggie is a, yes, good, that's present. I cooked. Past, I will cook Maggie is future. Okay, now you may ask me, ma'am, this is easy, everyone will say I cook Maggie, I play, I dance. So we don't know the actual meaning of it. Okay, so don't worry बच्चों. So यहाँ पे क्या होता है, simple tense, we are learning about the simple. The simple meaning ही क्या है कि हमें नहीं पता कि ये कब शुरू हुआ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಕುಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ हियर व्हाट्स देयर, आई कुक मैगी. ओके, तो हिंदी में अगर बोलूँ तो कहेंगे कि मैं मैगी पकाता हूँ. ठीक है, और इन पास्ट मैंने मैगी पकाया. फ्यूचर मैं मैगी पकाऊंगा या पकाऊंगी. दैट्स okay. So actual reason we don't know. In Kannada, if I want to say means I cook Maggie, nan Maggie cook ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. In cooked, nan Maggie cook ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Okay, I will cook ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, but don't know actual duration, actual time. Okay, so this is about the simple present, past and future. Got it? So what you have to keep it in your mind, that simple tenses that don't have duration or time. You have to fix this कि in the simple tense no time no duration. हमें नहीं पता चलता कि ये कब शुरू हुआ और कब ख़त्म होने वाला है. यावाग शुरू आयतो and यावाग end आगते. Okay, so I hope this first type you understood it well. If yes, please let me know in the comment section below, and you have to write at least 3 or 4 sentences. Next, move on to the next, that is yes, continuous tense. So how we discussed in the previous, that's for the simple. Now here also I'm going to discuss like in a continuous form. The same example, what's that? Yes, Maggie. Okay, so now I am cooking Maggie, I was cooking Maggie, and then yes, I will be cooking Maggie. So what's the difference over here? So one thing you have to understand, it's going on, it didn't stop. Okay, so cooking is a continuous form. Cook plus ing, cooking. Nan Like for example in Hindi, if I may say कि मैं मैगी पका रही थी, पका रही हूँ. Okay, so I was cooking Maggie, मैं पका रही थी. I will be, मैं मैगी पकाऊंगी. So continuous form, लगातार चल रहा है and we don't know where it's going to stop. That's called continuous. Okay, so I think you understood it. Cooking is like लगातार, continuously the work is going. We don't know where it's going to stop. That's called continuous tense. Either it's in past, present or future. You should know the differences between this. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next. Yes, correct. That will be the for the future. If you understand the continuous formation, how to do that, so it's my request to please write in the comment section below the 3 examples. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the next example. So what's the next type of tense? Yes, that is perfect tense. So how we discussed for the previous, like that only I'm going to give you the examples with explaining how it has been used. It have to use. Okay, so I hope you are enjoying it. So without any delay, let's jump on to the examples. So here are the examples of perfect continuous. Okay, I have cooked Maggie, I had cooked Maggie, I will have cooked Maggie. I know it's little bit confusing, but what's the meaning of it? The meaning over here, the work 100% have been completed. ठीक है, ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು 100% ವರ್ಕ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. मैगी कुक ಮಾಡೋದು ऑलरेडी कंप्लीटेड. ओके, सो इसमें क्या है बच्चों कि आई हैव कुक्ड मैगी, दैट मीन्स कि ये काम ख़त्म हो चुका है 100%. Got it? The work was started, okay, but finally it ended. So that means perfect tense. ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ perfect tense, not continuous. Okay, again I am telling the meaning. The work was started, continued and finally ended. Okay, so ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. That's the meaning of perfect tense. Understood? So if you understood, please let me know in the comment section below, and you have to write 3 examples. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the final one. That is, yes, perfect continuous. You should not get confused on the perfect continuous and perfect tense. Got it? Yes. Now let's start the last, that is perfect continuous tense. Okay, so don't get confused. Here also I am going to give an examples to you. By seeing the examples only you can able to understand it. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the example slides. Okay, so here are the examples of perfect continuous. I have been cooking Maggie for 2 hours. I had been cooking Maggie for 2 hours. I will have been cooking Maggie for 2 hours. So here you may get confused in perfect and perfect continuous. Okay, so what you have to understand over here, so for the perfect continuous, it's also known as like present perfect progressive tense, past perfect progressive and future perfect progressive. Okay, so present perfect continuous tense, it shows that something started in the past. Okay, जो काम था वो पास्ट में शुरू हुआ, ठीक है, and is continuing in the present. तो the work has been started in the past and still in the present time it's continuing. Okay, the present perfect continuous is formed by using the construction like has or have been, has been to the. If I need to tell you in the Hindi for this, तो मैं 2 घंटे से मैगी पका रही थी या रहा था, तो इट्स एंडेड. सो कब शुरू हुआ? 2 घंटे पहले ये काम शुरू हुआ और ख़त्म हो चुका है, ठीक है. एंड देन फॉर द पास्ट, मैं 2 घंटे से मैगी पका रहा था और वो ख़त्म हो चुका है, ठीक है. सो द वर्क हैज़ बीन स्टार्टेड बिफोर द 2 hours. फॉर दैट यू हैव टू keep that in your mind, have and had. Okay, so have will use for the present, for the past we'll use had. That's only the difference over here. Okay, then we'll move on to the future. सो फ्यूचर में क्या डाला गया है, आई विल हैव, ओके, आई विल प्लस हैव बीन, ये जरूरी है बच्चों, ठीक है, सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज ओवर हियर. सो अगर इससे क्या है कि मैंने 2 घंटे शायद इन द लाइफ 2 घंटे के लिए मैगी पका रहा होगा. ओके, सो इन आई डोंट नो हाउ टू कुक द मैगी राइट नाउ, बट इन द फ्यूचर डोंट नो व्हाट हैपन, सो आई विल कुक in the future. I'll plan, let's see in the future if I cook or not. That's the thing of this present perfect continuous or past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. Okay, so I hope you liked it, the examples you understood it well. Now please let me know in the comment section below that you have to write the 3 example of the present perfect continuous, past and as well as the future. Okay, so what's our agenda? Our agenda, the first is to meet of tenses that we understood. Now the next step, that is understand the types of tenses that also we use by using the examples, right? So and then now we should have a look on the helping verbs, where to use, how to use and when to use. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the helping verbs. Today you did some extra thing. What's that? Yes, congratulations everyone, that you understood and we cleared the concept, the hectic one from the grammar, that is tense. So for your side, you have to clap for yourself. So without any delay, let's start the helping verb. Now you may think, why I am talking about the helping verb. I said before starting this class कि I am going to give you the lot of examples so that you can improve and you can understand the actual meaning of the tenses, right, and how to use it. But so if you noticed in our agenda, first the third point is all about the helping verbs. Why do we need that? If you understand the concept of verbs, what do you mean by helping verb, where to use it, how to use it, okay, that's important to form a tense, that's important to form a structure of each tenses. Okay, that's a fourth main point and agenda that you have to know, and I am here to clear the doubt. Okay, so that's the reason I am making about the helping verb video as well. Before starting this, we should know what do we mean by a verb. Why do we know why we should know that meaning? Because if we know the actual meaning of verb, then it's very helpful to use it in a tense. Okay, the next point here, what does a verb describe? Okay, so what does the verb describe? And then types of verbs also, it's important. So types of verb also we are going to learn. And then the 3 form of verb. You have heard in your school that if we make a sentence, there will be a sentence structure. So for that, subject plus verb plus object, right? So verb form की number 1 डाल दिया जाएगा. Just I do homework. So the example for the verb form that we use, right? I cook Maggie. Okay, cook is a verb form number 1. Okay, so like that only, step by step we are going to learn the meaning, the definition, not definition, the meaning, and how it describes types, and then finally we are going to structure our tenses. Okay, it's going to be a fun, it's going to be an easy if you're watching continuously without any disturbance. Okay, so let's get started. The first, what are verbs? What's the meaning of verbs? Verbs are doing words. Doing words. Example, just like run, dance, speak, play, eat, go. There are so many verbs. Okay, you can think, just like write, reading, thinking. जो एक्शन चल रहा होता है, ठीक है, दैट्स कॉल्ड एक्शन वर्ड, दैट्स कॉल्ड डूइंग वर्ड्स, दैट्स कॉल्ड वर्ब. ओके, so verbs are words used to describe what? They describe action. Okay, they describe action, like they describe play, action in the sense play, go, eat, sleep, run, jump, write. So they are all verbs and they describe what? Action or an event. Okay, they are going to describe the event. That's the use and that's the meaning of verb. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next. As I told you, the verb describe an action. So you may ask how? How does a verb describe an action? Okay, so one thing you have to remember, action can be physical or mental. Okay, action, you can do the action through physical, like you can write, you will speak, you will walk. Okay, that's physical. Mental in the sense what you are thinking in your brain, that's called mental. So here with examples I'll explain you. Just like example, like the boys are playing, so the boys are a noun, so that's mental action, sorry, the physical action was going on, that's called a verb. Whatever you're doing through your physical body, it's a verb. And as well as the mental, either you're thinking it or imagining it, so that will be considered as a verb. The thinking of mental is also important. Okay, what you're thinking in your brain, that will be considered as a verb. Okay, so don't get confused on the physical and as well as verb. For example, I can say Rahul is thinking. Okay, you may say, ma'am, she is thinking, he is thinking. So thinking will be considered as verb. I think you understood the concept how to describe an action of a verb. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. The next question over here, the verb describe an event. I told you about the action or event. What's the difference between action and event? Okay, so event is something that happens. Okay, the outcome, issues or result of happening something. Okay, let me give you the example. Ria celebrate Diwali. So celebrate is an event. Okay, okay, another example, I organized party. So organize is an event. Okay, so we understood the concept of a verb. Now let us discuss about types of verb. So how many types of verb are there? That is action verb, helping verb and linking verb. Okay, so without any delay, let me give you the meaning of each verb. So what does action verb do? Action verb, that's giving, like what you're doing, it's going to tell, right? Either you're speaking, writing, dancing or thinking. Okay, that's the action verb. And what about the helping verb? Helping verb, the help the main verb. Okay, that helping verbs help the main verb, and as well as is also known as auxiliary verbs. Okay, don't get confused if in the exam they ask like just click the auxiliary verbs or you have to write like with the help of the auxiliary verbs. So don't get confused. Auxiliary verbs the same as helping verbs. Okay, so what does auxiliary verbs do? Auxiliary verbs provide additional help. Okay, they provide an additional help so that a sentence can form easily. Okay, let me give you an example. I will go home after my dance practice. Okay, I will go home after dance practice. So here the auxiliary verb will is telling us what? It's telling the action. Okay, and go will happen in the future. Okay, go home and then after food, like after dance practice. So if the auxiliary verb will is removed, so you won't get any idea, you don't know on what time or which time you're going out of, like which time you're going to complete your dance practice. So that's important. Will here, will is a helping verb and as well as auxiliary verb. Okay, so now we'll have a look for more example from the auxiliary verbs. Just like we are learning about helping verbs. So here are become, yes, are become is helping verb or else auxiliary verb. Understood? Now we'll move on to the, yes, linking verbs. So what does the linking verb means? So here I need your attention. Linking verbs do not show any type of action. Okay, it don't show any action. So what does they do, ma'am? You may ask that why that's the part of a verb. So here is an answer. They link the subject with the sentence. Okay, they link the subject. Okay, the main subject जो होता है, that link with the sentence. Okay, so the example, the flower smells sweet. Here the verb smell is linking the subject flower. Okay, just like an adjective you may think like that. Okay, no, it's not like an adjective, but flower smell sweet. So smell is an linking verb. Okay, so these are all about the verbs. Okay, types of verbs. I hope you understand the concept of the verbs, correct form of verbs in English grammar. So I need your attention again over here. I am not discussing all the verbs in the English language. If I start discussing this, oh my god, I can't able to complete this video. So only I am just trying to discuss the verbs that are important to use to form a sentence, to use and to form the tenses. Okay, so this is all about the tenses. Then now next what we are going to learn about it. So how we are going to use that in a tense. Finally we are going to use the structure of a tenses. Okay, so are you excited? Fine. So let's move on to the structure of a tense sentences with verb. Okay, with the verbs, like which verb is important, what's the auxiliary verb, what's the meaning of like helping verb, linking verb. You understood, right? So with the help of that we are going to make so many examples. Okay, so let's jump on that. So now we are going to give a focus to the forms of verb. Like we discussed about the types of verbs, then we learned their meanings with the examples, right? And now forms of verb. So how many forms of verbs are there, and why they are important? Okay, there are so many forms in the English language, children. Okay, so there are 5 forms of verb, but we need only for the grammar, right? So we need for the tenses. And how many forms are there? There are 3 forms of verb. That is first form of verb, second form of verb, and third form of verb. Okay, so for example, like for the first form of verb, go, if you take an example, the word go. So for the go, there are different types of verbs. How to use it, when to use it, and where we have to use that, in this video you are going to learn that. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the forms of verb. So I told you that there will be 3 forms, that is first form, second form, third form. Okay, according to the tenses. Okay, so I'm not telling all the verbs, just I'm describing the 3 verbs, three forms. Okay, so whenever, like if you want to write, you will write first form of verb, but we'll make it little short. Okay, so why we don't want to write so much, we'll just do it simple. That is V1, verb ki first form, that is V1, and verb ki second form will be V2, verb ki third form will be V3. Okay, so what are the verb first form is also known as what? It's also known as base form of verb. Okay, base form of verb, just like dance, run, play. ठीक है, द फर्स्ट फॉर्म जो प्रेजेंट में रहती है उसे कहते हैं हम बेस फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब. देन व्हाट अबाउट द वर्ब सेकेंड फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब? Second form of verb is also an action word, but it's used in past tense. Okay, so past, that is sing. Okay, sing का हो गया sung, so that is past tense. Okay, the past second form of verb. Then next, for the third form of verb, what do we say for the third form of verb? For the third form of verb, we'll say past participle. So here I need your attention over here. What do you mean by past participle? Okay, past participle is not a tense. Okay, past वो टेंस रहता है, बट पार्टिसिपल इज नॉट अ टेंस. अ पार्टिसिपल इज अ वर्ड, okay, that formed from a verb, okay, is used an adjective or to form a verb tense, probably ends with ed, dt, en, or, and there's so many examples for it. Okay, so what you have to understand बच्चों, जो ये past participle है, जो participle का जो word है ना, so उसे हम tense नहीं कहते. So here is a slide of present participle. Okay, so here you may see कि adding ing to a verb, okay, that becomes present participle. Okay, for the past the word ends with ed to regular verb. For example, cook हो गया cooked. Okay, and for the irregular verb may have ending with like en, t, d and n. Okay, just like an example, swallow. Okay, then it can also function as adjective. Okay, so the past participle can also be function as adjective. Okay, so adjective that modifies what? That modify nouns. Okay, for example, cut flowers. So that's called, cut will be adjective. Okay, so then perfect participle. So what's the meaning of perfect participle? Combining the words having with the participle, with the past participle of a word. Okay, example, having slept. Okay, so if you have seen having, having plus slept, so that will be what? That will be perfect participle. Okay, so first of all, what's the participle? Participle are words derived from verb. Okay, it's not a tense, children. Again, I am telling, it's not a tense. Then what it function? It functions as adjectives or a parts of word phrases. Okay, so now that means participle will look like a verb, just like an example, running. Okay, then but may have a different role in the sentences. So you like, if the verb it ends with ing, ed, it doesn't mean that particular word will be participle. They also have some rules and regulations, right, that you have to follow. Okay, how many types of participles are there? Okay, you should know each and everything, children, to perform the tenses. Okay, so now there are two main types of participle. Three types of participle are there. So first is past participle, second will be present participle, and third is perfect participle. Okay, getting doubt, getting confused? Don't worry. Examples I am going to give for the past participle. Okay, so the past participle ends in ed or the base form or other past tense irregular verbs ending and function as adjectives. They also combine with the verb to be to create the passive verb of verb forms. Okay, you should know the differences between regular and irregular verb. That also I am going to do in this video only. Why? Because I don't want you to get confused, either it's regular or irregular. Okay, so what you have to remember, for the past participle, that it functions for regular verbs and it always ends with ed. Just like an example आप दे सकते हो, cook. ओके, कुक का हो जाएगा कुक्ड. सो इसमें ऐड क्या हमने किया? इसमें हमने ऐड किया ed को. ठीक है? ओके, नेक्स्ट विल मूव ऑन. There are so many things like en, t, d and n. Examples include like swollen, burn, hoped, broken and some other examples. Okay, so then we'll move on. Okay, let me give you the example for it. Okay, that are, now I told you about the regular verbs, and what about the adjective? How do you able to find out? So here, she placed the cut flowers in the vase. She placed the cut flowers in the vase. So here cut modify what? Cut modify flowers. Clear? समझ में आया? And then next example also I will give you. The past participles can also combine with the verb. Okay, verb to be create a passive forms of verb. Okay, so here like example, he was taken to the store by his daughter. Okay, he was taken to the store by his daughter. The verb from the verb form, okay, was taken जो है ना was taken from the past participle and was will be the past tense. So past tense क्या होगा, was present का, is का तो होगा was ना, so past tense simple. Okay, participle का simple यही आपको याद करना है कि that ends with t ed और वो सिर्फ regular verbs में ही लिया जाएगा. ठीक है, now for the present participle it ends adding with ing to the base form, just like cook plus ing will be a present participle. Participle of eat is eating, eat बन जाएगा eating. क्यों? क्योंकि हमें प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल चाहिए, राइट. ओके, अनदर एग्जाम्पल लाइक स्विमिंग, लाफिंग, प्लेइंग, तो उसके जरिए से हमें उसे कह देना उसे हमें मार्क कर देना चाहिए कि ये प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल है. बट you should know the differences between gerund and participle. Okay, so for that also I made a video, so please go back and watch that video so that you can able to understand about the gerund and as well as the participle differences. Okay, so next example, adjective for the present, that is the winning athletes gets a trophy. So winning describe what? Winning describe द नाउन. तो यहाँ पे नाउन क्या है? नाउन बन गया हमारा एथलेट्स. ओके, सो इट्स सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, फॉर द परफेक्ट पार्टिसिपल. सो परफेक्ट कैसे फाइंड आउट करें हम? इट्स आल्सो इजी. सो परफेक्ट पार्टिसिपल डेमोन्स्ट्रेट दैट एन एक्शन वॉज कंप्लीटेड इन द पास्ट. ठीक है, सो जो काम है वो पास्ट में ही कंप्लीट हो चुका है 100%. ओके, like इसमें includes example having watched, having arrived, having slept. Okay, then now participle phrase combined with other words that acts as an adjectives within the sentences. Okay, usually participle phrases modifies the subject of sentences. Subject of sentences क्या है हमारा? Subject of sentences, and then but sometimes they modify other nouns. Confuse? Example. Okay, wearing his new suit, Bill went to work. Wearing his new suit, Bill went to work. So the participle phrase wearing his new suit, what it adds? It adds like an adjective and it describes the subject. Subject of what? Subject of the sentence कौन सा है यहाँ पे? यहाँ पे subject सिर्फ एक ही हो सकता है और वो है bill. ठीक है, and next example here, leaving the store he hailed a taxi. Okay, leaving a store he hailed a taxi. So here it's clear that a phrase leaving the store modify was leaving the store. वो क्या modify कर रहा है? वो modify कर रहा है किससे? वो subject को modify कर रहा है और यहाँ पे subject क्या है? he. Clear? So you should know that the present participle is always ends with ing. कंफ्यूज ना हो, प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल्स जो है वो ऑलवेज एंड होते हैं ing से, और वो पास्ट पार्टिसिपल वो ऑलवेज एंड होते हैं ed से, एंड अदर पास्ट टेंसेस लाइक इरेगुलर वर्ब्स आपको जानने होंगे. ठीक है, और नेक्स्ट पार्टिसिपल्स फ्रेजेस जो हैं वो ऑलवेज मॉडिफाई करते हैं सब्जेक्ट को. ठीक है, बट थोड़े लाइक कुछ सेंटेंसेस होते हैं जिसे हम सब्जेक्ट को मॉडिफाई नहीं कर पाते अकॉर्डिंग टू द पार्टिसिपल phrases. It depends ki how you are reading and how you are performing the word. Okay, so this is all about the participle. So now you are getting confused ki how to find out either it's a past or past participle. Okay, so with these examples you may clear your doubt. Okay, so here the base form dance, I use the word dance. So the second form will be जो बेस फॉर्म रहता है प्रेजेंट का डांस, तो पास्ट में क्या हो जाएगा? यस, डांस्ड, डांस, डांस्ड. फॉर द पास्ट पार्टिसिपल सेम, इट वोंट चेंज, इट विल एंड विथ ed. Okay, as I told you, the past participle words it ends, so I need you to next over here what you have to understand in this, the forms of a tense, regular and irregular verbs. So what do you mean by regular and irregular verb? Okay, so here the regular verb that you can easily, these verbs have their second form of verbs and third form of verb. Okay, so very similar to the first form of verb. Confused? Don't worry, with lot of examples you are going to learn. So इसमें क्या है, जो regular verbs जो है, it always ends with ed. That's it. Okay, the second form or third form of verb is created. Okay, for example, enjoy, enjoy is there, right? For the enjoy, you have to change, you have to find out either it's a regular or irregular. It's easy. For the enjoy, y, after y, what you have to add? Ed. So enjoyed. And for the past participle, enjoy will be enjoyed. Okay, that will be considered as regular verb. Then talk. Next example, talk. For the talk is a base form, right? And the base talk, second form will be talked. Third form, talk. That's it. Okay. For the laugh, laughed, laughed. Ed. Ed is important. Why? Because we want to find out, we are learning about the regular verbs. Okay. Now we'll move on to the irregular verbs. Okay. So the irregular verbs, what's the meaning of irregular verbs? These verbs have their second form of verb and third form of verb dissimilar to the first form of verb. ठीक है, जो सेकेंड एंड थर्ड फॉर्म जो रहते हैं, जो फर्स्ट फॉर्म से अलग रहते हैं. ठीक है, और इसे हम कहते हैं irregular verb. The second form and third form of verb is not created. Okay, it's not created, so it's a irregular verb. Example, eat, eat, eat. Second form, ate. So you can't able to add ed over there. So you have to change it, right? Eat, ate, eaten. Okay. Then next, put. For the put, there is no second, third form. So you have to put. Okay. Okay. Next example, arise. Okay. Arise. The second irregular verb will be arose. Okay. Then the third, break, broke. Okay. So like that, this is all about the regular and important point. What's that? The past participle, it always ends with ed, d, t, en or n. Okay. And the present participle, it always ends with ing. Clear? Okay. Now again one thing. So इसमें क्या है, the forms of verb, it's not like you may be thinking, okay, dance is there, I will add ing and then dancing will be there. No, it depends on the form of the sentence. Okay, the structure of the sentence. It's not necessary ki you to mug up. Okay, you may think, okay, I'll mug up each and everything, but as you all know, the mug up concept is going to ruin your life. So don't mug up, you have to practice it. Try. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of the regular and irregular verbs, forms of verbs. Okay, so this is all about the correct forms of verbs that you have to use in the English. In the English, that's mainly for the tense. Now we'll have a look how to use helping verbs in tenses. ठीक है, तो हमने क्या जाना था कि हमने verbs के forms जाने, right? So now we'll have a look कि कैसे use किया जा सकता है इस helping verbs को tenses बनाने के लिए. ठीक है, so here helping verbs are what? Helping verbs are, yes, help the main verb, and the second verb, what they do, they are used together with the main verb. Next here, they have no meaning by themselves. Helping verb, they have no meaning. For example, girl is standing. Okay, is a helping verb, but single, it doesn't have any meaning. Okay, so to have a look on it, so we are going to discuss the types of helping verbs. So there are two types of helping verbs, that is auxiliary verbs and modal verbs. Okay, so then what is auxiliary verb? So auxiliary verbs are words is providing additional help, right? But they are used to express what? They are used to express tense or to emphasize the tense what they are going to talk about it. Okay, the helping verb is modal verbs. Okay, what the meaning of modal verbs? Modal verbs that modify to further modify the action, okay, or the meaning of the main verb are called modal verbs. There are so many modal verbs, but according to the tenses, okay, so now we are just learning about the tense, so we will have a look only the main modal verbs that can be used in, yes, in the tenses. Okay, so modal verbs is to modify the action or the meaning of the main verb, right? So I'll give you the example. You have to respect elders, okay, it's necessary. So that means I am giving you the task of further and I'm modifying the action, okay, that's called modal verbs. I know you didn't understand. With the help of the examples you are going to understand, but we are just going to have a look the main modals and then the auxiliary verbs, okay, that are going to be used in the tenses. Okay, now let's have a look the auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs, there are three types of auxiliary verbs: to be, to have and to do. Okay, so to be में कौन से कैरेक्टर लाइक वर्ब्स आ जाते हैं? सो इसमें आता है am, is और was and were. Just am a girl, okay, she is a woman. So it depends like what you are speaking, that's to be. Then here we are going to have about the to have, okay, then to do. In the to do will be do, did, okay. So that's all about the auxiliary verb, and then we'll have a look on the modal. Okay, so I didn't explain about it to have, right? So in the to have, that is has, have, had. In the to do, does, did. That's called auxiliary verbs. Now we'll move on to the modal verbs. So modal verbs, just we are going to learn some of the modal verbs. Okay, there are so many modal verbs, just like can, could, may, might. Sorry, not modal. Shall, should, will, would, etc. Okay, modal verbs that are used in tenses are will and shall. Okay, modal will only used for the will and shall. Okay, so now is, am, are. To be, we are going to use it. Okay, so where to use this and what does it indicates? Grammatical numbers, verb forms, and finally with the examples. Okay, so here first of all we'll have a look on the am. Okay, so am is a be form of a verb. You should not get confused. If there is a be form of a verb, you have to use these types of verbs over there. So here am, is, are. Okay, this is the be form of verb. So what you have to understand, if the I is there, I am. Okay, so I am. So if I is there, that will be a yes, first form of a verb. So that will be a singular, plural, singular. Why? Because it's talking about the single person, am. It's not about the group, right? And then second is, he is, she is, it is. So here is का मतलब ही होता है सिंगल फॉर्म. ओके, सिंगुलर, that is verb की first form. Okay, we have discussed about the verb first form, second form and third form, right? So like that only here also they have mentioned. And then the next are, you are, they are, we are. It represent what? It represents singular? No, it represent plural. And it talking about what? Present, past or future? Yes, it's talking about the present thing. Okay, you are, it's not taking you were will be past. Okay, so you should know the verb be where we have to use. Okay, then we have to, now we are going to make an example. Okay, with the examples you are going to learn it easily. Okay, so I am going to a market. So here I am going to a market will be what? Yes, I am going to market. So I am जुड़ गया. So am is a be verb, I is a pronoun. Okay, so I am. Go plus ing. Why do we use ing? Because that's a first form of a verb. So there we have to add plus ing. For example, dance plus ing, it's easy. Okay, so V1 के लाइक वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म के जोड़ हमें ing ऐड कर देना है, तभी ये बनेगा एक वर्ड दैट इज डांस, और डांस को हम कह देंगे डांसिंग. ओके, next example, you are dancing. Okay, I didn't say you are dance. No, you can't able to use like that words. Okay, you are dancing, they are dancing, we are dancing. Okay, this is all about the present singular and present continuous tense. We understood about is and are, right? So now we'll have a look on the second, that's the B forms, that is was and were. Okay, so you should not get confused about the present and past. Okay, so was will be used for what? Yes, for the past tense and for the past continuous. So here you are supposed to use. And where do we use was? We use was for the singular number, for the singular grammatical number. Okay, just like pronoun like I, he, she or it. Okay, and then the opposite of was, yes, were. So were is you, we or they. So that the number of that is plural. Okay, so with the examples we'll have a look on over here. So I was cooking. So I was cooking is a past continuous tense. Okay, then it was raining. It was raining. Okay, then next we'll have a look for the example they were dancing, we were dancing, you were dancing or cooking. Okay, it's a type of auxiliary verb. You, it's either will be singular and plural. Okay, G verb की first form, and for the past the same thing we are going to use. Okay, so then now we'll move on to the next. Have, has and had. Okay, so here the verbs has is used for a singular. Okay, तो has and have क्या हो जाएगा? So that is present. Okay, then had, was, were is in another family. Okay, the had is a past, was and were was also past. Then have, has, is, am, are was an another category, and that's in another family. Okay, so now we'll move on and we'll have a look on the has. So has will used with he, she and it. Okay, and what does it indicates? It indicates for the perfect tense and as well as for the perfect continuous tense. What's the meaning of perfect? Perfect, that the work 100% has been completed. Okay, and what about the perfect continuous tense? For the perfect continuous tense, that work was continuing from the past so many days and finally it got ended. So that is perfect continuous tense. Okay, so he, she, it, what the number, grammatical number, that is singular, right? Then over here we'll have a look for the have. Have I, we, you, they. But here you, so either it will be a singular or plural. Why did I say like that? So here we and they is a plural, no doubt, but for the I and you it depends on the tense. Okay, so you are a girl, fine. Okay, but you will be sometimes plural, and as well as for the I. Then we'll move on to the verb form. So when we discussed about is, am, are, what we learn verb ki first form plus ing, right? And then for the past also we learn verb ki first form plus ing. Okay, then what about this has and have? So here we are going to learn about the verb third form of the verb. Why like that? Because here we are talking about the perfect continuous tense. So that's the reason we have to discuss about the verb third form of the verb. Okay, let me give you an example, just like a dance, danced, dancing. So dance is a first form, Danced is a second form. Danced also a third form. But for the dancing, okay, that is V1 plus ing. Okay, so let me give you another example. He has played. She has. It has. Why I am mentioning has? So here has we are just only you are supposed to use for the pronouns. He, she, it. What about I, you? Okay, for the I we won't use I has. No, I has eaten the ice cream, or I has completed my homework. No, you are not supposed to use I has. Okay, so what about what we have to use for that? So have, yes, I have eaten the ice cream, or we have eaten the ice cream, we have eaten the chocolate. And for the you have, you should not say you has. Okay, I has completed my homework, ma'am. No, that's the wrong form of a verb. Okay, they have. For the plural, yes, you and we have we are going to use, as well as for the I also you are going to use what? Yes, have. Okay, so this is all about the verbs. Then we'll move on to the next, had. Okay, HAD, had. So it was used with what? I, you, he, she, it, we and they. Okay, so it indicates what? It indicates past perfect. It's not indicate present. Had will indicates what? Past. I told you before, right? Had is in another family, that is in a past family. Have was in present family. Okay, don't get confused. So here had, it may be a singular or plural. Okay, so then here we are going to use which form of verb? We are going to use third form of verb की यूज किया जाएगा. ओके, आई विल गिव यू द एग्जांपल. कम कम कम. सो वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म भी कम है, सेकेंड फॉर्म भी कम है, थर्ड फॉर्म की भी केम है. ठीक है. सो नाउ अगेन द एग्जांपल, आई हैड कम टू मीट यू. I had come to meet you. That's a past perfect tense. Okay, then for the it had stopped raining. It had, it nouns को नहीं कहा जाएगा, right? It had stopped raining. And what about they had come to meet me. They had, you are not supposed to use they have. Okay, then next example, you had come to meet me, he had come to meet me, like that. Okay, so now we'll move on the do and does. Okay, do, does and did. सो डू डस किस ग्रुप में हो जाएंगे? यस, प्रेजेंट की ग्रुप में. और डिड कहाँ जाएगा? डिड जाएगा पास्ट की ग्रुप में. तो पहले हम प्रेजेंट की ग्रुप जान जाएंगे, दैट इज डू एंड डस. ओके, सो डू यूज्ड विथ, यस, आई, वी, यू, दे. ओके, सो इट इज सिंगुलर एंड plural. Why here you word is there? So either it's singular or plural. Okay, now for the does, he, she, it. For the pronoun only we are going to use he, she, it. Does she completed her homework? Okay, does. You are not supposed to do she completed her homework. No. Okay, he, she, it. That was used in present indefinite tense. That is simple present tense. Okay, so you are understanding it, right? So do will use for either for the singular or plural. But what about does? Does is only used for singular. Okay, so here we are going to use only the verb की first form. First form of the verb. If you have seen the first form, there you have to mention. Okay, if the do is there, the first form of the verb will be used. Okay, let's have a look with an examples. I do not like to play cricket. Play is a first form, right? I do not like to dance. Dance is a first form. Okay, next move on to the does. So does की example, he does not want it. He does not want it. It either will be a food or something. Okay, then it does not rain there. It does not rain there. It's all about the do and does. Now we'll move on to the did. So did will use I, you, he, she, it, we or they. So it will use for the what? That's the group, right? Another family, the family of past. So past indefinite. So here the verb ki first form, and that is either singular or plural. Okay, the example will be it did not rain, or next he did not play, we did not play, he did not play, you did not play. It's all about the verbs. Okay, so this is all about do, does and did. So next we'll have a main important session, that is for the exercise on helping verbs and tenses. Okay, so that's the final session that we are going to learn, and then finally you are ready to make our tenses and to understand it better. Part we'll do in our next video. Till then, practice, take care, respect your parents and keep learning. Tata, thank you.